Namaskar. Myself, Dr. G.V. Narasimhan, working as an assistant professor in Mandya PES College. In this video, I will going to explain you the basic aspects of financial management. Let us have a brief discussion on the financial management. What is management basically? Followed by what is finance. The correlation between these two terminologies will get us the exact meaning for the financial management. We have various functions to our financial management. That too, in management concept, we have started with planning activity, followed by organizing, and it goes on up to controlling of the activities of the organization. So why this finance is required for the organization? Some of the authors has given it is considered as lifeblood of the organization, like human body. In the human body, we require blood circulation, and which will make the human body as a healthy one. Like even in case of organizations, finance is treated as a lifeblood, which is to be in circulation. Then only all the organs of the human body will work. Even in organizations, all the departments will work. Some of the authors has quoted in a different way, like it is universal lubricant of the organization, because lubricant oil is very much required to run the wheels of the vehicle or anything in a smooth manner. Likewise, finance is considered as the lubricant oil for the organization. Take for example, we may have marketing management or marketing department, we have HR department, we have production department, and so on and so forth. But each and every department is depending on the finance department. If finance department works in a proper channel, obviously remaining departments can easily run their activities in a smooth manner. Now let us come to the financial management concept. Finance is nothing but money, cash, fund, in a simple or in a literal way, if I say. But management is something like getting the work done through other. This is another beautiful meaning that we can have for the management. Now, how to understand this financial management? Say for example, I discussed with you the functions of management: planning, organizing, and all. Plan for finance, organize for finance, then control the finance. In this way, we have to correlate various functions of management with the finance. Whenever we are having some plan related to finance, we are supposed to plan first where the money is available, how much money is available, where we are supposed to approach for the money, like this. So all WH questions we can say. So in this manner, first we have to learn for planning the finance, organizing the finance, and finally controlling the finance. Now we will have some aspects of financial management. Basically, the financial management is concerned with two aspects. One is procurement of funds, followed by proper utilization of funds. What is procurement? It is nothing but obtaining the money. So how we are supposed to obtain? Again, the WH questions have to be applied for procurement concept, and followed by application. It is nothing but proper utilization. Even for utilization purpose, we have to apply all WH questions. Now let us have some more discussion related to procurement of funds. From the viewpoint of a corporate sector, finance can be procured from various sources like equity capital, preference capital, debenture capital, or even debt capital, followed by some term loans from financial institutions or banking institutions. There are so many sources available to procure the money for the organization. But the discussion doesn't end here. We need to go further. So what is that? Once if it is procured, obviously we have to think about the three characteristics attached with the procurement of funds. So what are there? We have risk, we have cost, and we have control. Three characteristics we have. So procurement can be either in the way of equity or in the way of debt. Equity is nothing but own money or own funds. Debt is nothing but borrowed money or borrowed funds. So let us have only two classification. One is debt and another one is equity. So in what way we can approach for either debt or equity, which is decided by the three characteristics which is associated to this procurement activity. So first we will have a discussion on risk concept. What is risk, or how the risk can be attached to either equity or debt. This is our next discussion. Procurement of equity is less risky when we compare with procurement of debt capital. Debt capital is more risky. In what way we are saying like this? Say for example, if we borrow equity capital, the equity shareholders expect their money only at the time of liquidation. Whereas in case of debt capital, there is no such option. Probably we may borrow the debt capital in the form of either debentures or term loan for a particular time. For example, 5 years debentures or 10 years debentures. It is very much essential to understand that we are supposed to repay either at the end of 5th year or at the end of 10th year. But in case of equity, it is not like that. The equity capital is not necessarily to be repaid until the liquidation time takes place to the organization. That's why the question of risk arises only in case of debt capital. In case of equity, it is less risky, we can say. We should not say there is no risk for equity capital. When we compare with the debt capital, equity capital is less risk or low risk. Then we will come to the cost characteristic. So what is the cost associated with either debt capital or equity capital? Since it is the first class or the beginning class, I want to tell you what is cost to equity capital. The normal question is there any cost to our capital? Cash to cash, cash incurred to obtain the cash, cash incurred or cost incurred to obtain the capital. This concept is very beautiful that we are supposed to know. Suppose if I want to go for equity capital, definitely the shareholders are interested in investing in our company, but obviously in turn they expect the dividend. That dividend is called cost to the organization. The dividend rate may vary from either 8% or 10%. It definitely depends on the size of the organization or the nature of the organization or their profitable potentiality. So it depends on the organization's capital structure and their profit potentiality. But when we come to debt capital, the cost associated with the debt capital is the payment of interest. Whenever we borrow money from outside, either in the form of debenture or in the form of a term loan, we are supposed to make the payment in the form of interest. So that interest is called cost to debt capital. So both have some amount of cost. So obviously now we have to make a comparison between the debt and equity with respect to cost characteristic. So which one is better? The question arises. When we have a look into the interest part for the debt capital, interest charge is fixed in nature. If we commit for some 8.5%, we are supposed to make a payment of only 8.5%. Whereas in case of dividend, it is not like that. Suppose if we declare some 8%, obviously the shareholders may approach for some more amount of dividend or anything like that. It all depends on the organization. But when we have a comparison between debt and equity, debt is more cheaper than the equity. So the cost associated with the debt is lesser than cost associated with equity. So the risk concept approached us to go for equity capital, whereas cost concept approached us to go for debt capital. So we are not in a position to make any good trade-off between these two. Now let us have one more characteristic, which is nothing but control characteristic. So what is that control concept? With respect to control, which one it supports for, whether for equity or debt? It is the next analysis. Dilution in control is possible in case of equity capital, whereas there is no dilution in case of debt capital. Now we must understand this reality behind in this dilution concept. There may be a chance of increasing number of shareholders for the organization. So if number of persons get increases, obviously the shareholders get increases, and shareholders are treated as real owners. So real owners are becoming more and more once if the shares are purchased by the shareholders. Obviously we are supposed to shift the controlling activity of the organization from one shareholder to another shareholder. They have got a right to control the activities of the organization because of the share purchased by them. When we have a look into debt capital, there is no such concept. I mean no dilution in control, because the financial institution for the matter or banking institution for the matter, they have given money support, we have borrowed it, whether it is run by X or run by Y, they have least bother, and they don't interfere into the controlling activities of the organization. So the controlling concept clearly indicates we have to go for debt capital. So among the three characteristics what we have discussed, two characteristics have given the debt capital is the best one, whereas one characteristic has given only equity is best. But we have to have a look into the trade-off concept. We have a separate concept called capital structure theories. So capital structure of an organization is decided by the size of the organization, nature of the organization, or sometimes even the policies what they have made in the organization. So there we have to decide the capital structure, whether the debt equity should be either in 50-50 or it should be in 60-40 or 70-30. Everything is depending on the organization's policies and all. That's why the procurement of funds is completely related to either debt capital or equity capital. One can easily approach either debt or equity. It depends on his capital structure or his company's policy. Now the second aspect what we have discussed is proper utilization of funds. So first one is procurement. In detail we discussed. Once if the money is procured, obviously we have to employ somewhere that particular procured money. So where we are supposed to employ it? So the financial manager has got more responsibility towards employment or deployment of the money what he has procured. So first he has to look into the fixed asset as well as working capital. Even sometimes we can call it as fixed capital or working capital, whatever it may be the combination. But normally finance manager has to look into the fixed asset part. The procured fund has to be deployed in fixed asset first target. If the investment in fixed asset is sufficient, then he has to look into the adequacy of working capital, because working capital is more important to run the organization on day-to-day basis. Obviously one has to look into the working capital requirement and its adequacy. So what we are supposed to know from this, once if the money is procured, where it has to be employed. That's why we are calling it as utilization of funds in a proper manner or in an effective manner, whatever it may be the terminology, but it should be utilized in the best possible manner. So procurement and proper utilizations are two important aspects of financial management.